Hello everyone, welcome to day number 2 of our after school Chaotic Club. I hope you're all keeping well. My name is Louise, I'm the founder of Chaotic. Chaotic, my own Irish brand of modelling clay. It's non-messy, it doesn't stick to clothes, carpet or hair, so whatever you make you get to keep provided you're happy with it. If not, you can just put it back into the container and it's fine. You can use it like Play-Doh. So again, you're very welcome. And just to go over what we did last week, I hope you enjoyed it. This was our little COVID catcher, we can call it, can't we, from last week. So mine dried up quite nice. And again, you can keep it for storing your little pencils or your pens or when you're doing your homeschooling, which I hope is going good for everybody. My little boys, he's enjoying it so far, so good. So this is the arts and crafts section of our homeschooling, isn't it, for the week? Good. So I'm going to set that aside. So today we're going to do 2 tasks. It is pencil. Again, the theme for this after school club is nature. So that's hence we're doing kind of obviously nature inspired products. So this is our pencil. That's like a little, one of them. I just did another one there. So it'll be a version of this, okay? It'll be your version. Hello, Emer there. Hello, Thea. How are you? Great. I can see the comments there. It's wonderful. And just before I forget, big shout out to Sive. Her gran, I think it's Pat, was messaging me. So hello, Sive. You're very welcome as well. So something like this, okay? So that's the first product. And then our second one is our little tree. I'm going to hold it up to the camera there. So it's a little moving mechanism, and it has the apples, a bird, and little chicks in a nest. So it's a tree character, and then it has eyes. Boo. So I'm going to just put it on the table so that you will actually see how it'll walk. Some of you have used a moving mechanism before in my other camp, but for those that are new, so I'm just going to wind it up. I think I've done mine back to front, so he's going backwards. Yours should go forward. So just try and wind it up now and make sure that you know which way is the front and which way is the back. Okay? Happy enough with that? And then to remember to have obviously our 2 packs that we sent in the post, to use that. I've supplied a pencil to you, and then the clay from last week. This intro pack is very important. Remember, everybody? Yeah, very good. So I'm just going to keep that there for the moment. Give them aside and put this little guy aside so you can watch him. And I'm just going to position that just a little bit better. Okay, so let's get clean. But remember, we're going to do our 3 shapes to make, so you understand how you make anything from Chaotic. Hello, Kira there in Dublin. Good. Hello, how are you? Now, so we're going to take, we're going to do the pencil first. So, but again, we're just doing our practice run first. So I would take the green from the first tub, and we're going to just stretch it and fold it because it's cold enough here again in Dundalk. So wherever you are, I'm sure it's a bit nippy, and the clay is a little bit cold, so we need to warm it up. Okay, so we're warming the clay up. So we're taking it out. Remember, put the lids on. Sorry, put the lids on just so that, because it's an air drying clay, so it air dries. So we're going to stretch and fold, stretch and fold, and stretch and fold. Okay, I'm just going to tilt this down a little bit more here, just so you concentrate on my hand. So stretch and fold. And stretch and fold. So that's how we warm up the clay. And then can Kira in Dublin, can you tell me the first shape we're going to make just to refresh? Good girl, is that I heard? A ball, good girl. Yeah, so we're going to move a ball. So again, I do mine in the palm of the hand. You can do it in the palm of the hand or on the table, whichever you feel comfortable with. Good girl, Kira, well done. I see it there, you did it here. Ball, good girl. So when so that I do it in the palm of my hand or on the table, whichever you feel comfortable with. It just depends, whatever you're happy with. The thing is, with Chaotic, again, you want to get it as wrinkle free as possible because we're aiming to have a good quality standard product by the end. So everybody, when you've got the ball made wrinkle free, hold it up so I can see it. Oh, I'm loving that, Thea. That's brilliant. It's excellent. And Sive out there, and Lucy and Bella in Dromiskin. Very good. And the other Lucy, in Dublin or in Dundalk. That's brilliant. I see it. Yeah. So a ball. And then the next shape, Ben. There's a Ben in Wexford as well. It's called, from last week, after the ball, we go into a droplet. Good man. So you decide where the halfway mark is and you roll over and back like this. So you want to have a fat bottom and a skinnier top. Like that. So over and back, pay a little attention. This is a tricky enough shape. It's called a droplet because it looks like a teardrop or a raindrop. So I'm going to hold it up now. Hold up yours. Oh, wow. They look fabulous, boys and girls. Well done. I'm loving what you've done over. That's really good. For your first attempt, it's excellent. So that's your droplet. Well done. That's the second shape. And now the third and final shape is the Mills sisters. What do you think it is? Yous are professionals at it now. A sausage. Good girls. Good girls over there in Cavan. So over and back like this. And that's the sausage. So that's simple. That's the most simplest of shapes. So we have the ball. The second shape was good girl Lucy out there in Dundalk. Droplet. And then the final shape is a sausage. Perfect. So again, they're the three shapes you need to know to make anything from chaotic. And once you've perfected them, you literally can make everything and anything. So we're going to start making our, I'm just going to put a little example up there because that's dry there, our pencil, or flower pencil, okay? So I'm going to start off with this section here. We call this, I suppose, a stem, okay? So we're going to just take a little bit of green away, around that amount of the green away, just so if we need it for extra. I like the way we've done a leaf in that one, so we might keep that just a little bit aside for the leaf, okay? So we're going to we have it already stretched and folded, so we're going to start off covering our pencil. Now, so you all have got the pencil obviously in the post, so you roll into a sausage first, just a long sausage. It doesn't have to be that exact because we're going to smoothen it out with our hands. And then we're going to wrap it around a pencil. Wrap it around, wrap it around, wrap it around. Now, and then we're going to, so once we have a kind of, I have mine very actually roughly done there, like that, okay? But then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to kind of drag it down. Just like that in the palm of your hands. So kids are very good at doing this because when I used to give the real life workshops, the kids were always excellent at this technique and they used to make their own little pencils, so I was inspired by them. So I'm hoping you will be of similar ability. Okay, like that, something like that, just so it covers the whole entire well, it doesn't actually have to, so boys and girls didn't have to cover the whole entire pencil, but if you want, do so. I'm going to do mine because we've made it in the past and it's actually very comfortable to write with, and particularly with us doing all our homeschool, and it is actually it is quite nice to actually hold it or to use it as a pencil. So there, and mine is a little bit thick. You'll see the way mine's a little bit thick, but you know that with chaotic it shrinks, so it'll bond to the pencil eventually because that's solid to the pencil there. So just keep that in mind. You mightn't be able to use this tomorrow, but in a week or so you will. Okay, so I'm going to keep that aside just like that. And then I think we should decorate because you just don't want it all green. So I have a bit of yellow in here. So I'm going to keep, I'm going to just take around this amount of the yellow, okay? Something like that. And roll it into a sausage. So I'm just going to roll it into a very, very thin sausage and wrap it around the green, just to lighten it up a bit so that it looks just a little bit more professional, like something you'd maybe buy in a shop, as opposed to just having it very ordinary green. Okay, so I'm going to go as skinny as I can. You actually could do little polka dots as well. I'll not be too strict with you. So whatever you're comfortable with, you work away with. But just to show detail, it's good to do very, very small sausage. I'm just going to put that green. I was naughty there. I left that out, wasn't I? I was very naughty. Like that, and that. So you can see mine. I'm going to put I have my black plate there just to show you the thickness of it. So mine is quite thin. See it? And then I'm going to wrap it around the actual pencil. I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to twist, twist, twist. So all around like that, all around like that. It just gives a little bit of variation, obviously, in colour. It makes it a little bit more exciting on the eye. And then I'm going to flatten it by putting my hands like that again, in the palm of my hands like that. Now, so once we have that done, I'm just going to leave that aside there. I'm going to talk you through the next bit. So again, I have yellow, I have orange. I have eyes in that. I don't know if we need eyes or is that just by accident, but if we have eyes, we'll stick on eyes. It doesn't make any major difference anyway. So I'm going to use this orange here. I'm just going to use, I'm going to take a tiny bit away. Look at boys and girls, just look, tiny. I'm going to keep that just for later because I want to mix colours. So just like that, to set that aside. And now you're going to do a big ball and put it for the centre of our flower. So that's there. My orange is more vibrant now. That was just a little subtler orange I had then when I was making it in the practice run. See that one? That's what I'm doing now, this part here. Okay? So we roll that into a ball. And we put it on top of our pencil. So I'm just going to flatten it slightly and then on top of our pencil like this. I should have actually, now that I think about it, got the proper parts of a flower. It would have been a good way of learning a little bit of geography as well. But anyway, I'll know that for the next time. So look, that's the centre of our flower there. And then I'm going to get our tools. So it's nice to use these tools. So this is my favourite tool, the one with the little serrated edge, and they use that quite a lot. So I'm just going to do a little bit of texture into it. Because you know the way daisies and all of little flowers always have textures in the centre. So if you just want to illustrate that by using that tool and over 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 and back like that. Yeah. I just need to look this up. Don't worry, I'll show it to you now. I just want to make sure I can see what I'm doing, and then I'm going to hold it up to you. So something like that, just texturize it. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, again, I was very naughty, wasn't I? That yellow was sitting out. I should have had it underneath my tubs. But anyway, we'll use a bit of the yellow. So around this amount. So look at this amount. I'm just going to make sure around this amount. Okay, it's kind of the top of your finger, top of your little finger, basically, in clay. Okay, and we're going to do a load. So we'll just roll into a sausage. So you want it to cover. I'm just going to show you here. I want to just make sure that I roll it out to the size, the circumference of that there. So we're rolling for a sausage around that size. And then we're going to roll it into, let's see, around 10 little balls. So there's 2. Remember, divide into 2 and then 2 again. That's 4. And then divide that into is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8. Maybe 8 will do is fine. I'll not be too strict with use 8 to 10 little balls. Basically, we're going to use to put around the outside, just to make it a little bit more decorated around the outside. So look at into a ball, and then we attach it on like that. Everybody see? Yeah? Good, good, good. I'm just going to use my black plate again, just to be able to see it on camera better, because white on yellow can be a little bit difficult to see. There's 2. I have 3. So I'm just conscious here because we may need a little bit more of the yellow, but anyway, we'll do what we can for now and see how we get on. So I'm just going to roll them into a ball. See, I'm in that size, remember? Whoops, it's so small. You can hardly see it in my hand. Yeah. And then attach it on. Roll into a ball. Attach it on. So something like that. You want it nice and even as you can, all the little balls as even as you can, nothing too big 1 minute and then small the next. You just want to keep it as even as you physically can. Because nature is usually quite exact, isn't it? Things in nature are usually quite even. Whoops, mine's jumping over here. Like that. Does it look good? It's coming along nicely, isn't it? I'm going to half that one there. So I'm going to half that one away. So I've been just trying to keep them as even as I can. Remember like that. Whoops. Mine's jumping everywhere. There. Have her. There we go. Yeah. Like that. And like that. And like that. Okay. So I haven't calculated it well enough. So I'm going to just dip in to get a little bit more yellow. Okay. So it's not a big deal anyway. Look at it. So I need to get a yellow that will cover it all from there to there. So I don't know, I'm sure you might have estimated better than me. So I'm just going to roll into the sausage and cut it into, I'd say I need around 6 more. 2, 4, 5, 6. So I'm hoping they're even enough there. 6. How's everybody out there? He's getting on okay? Are you? Tia, how are you getting on, little Kenny? Hopefully, good. Now there. And there, I've got one little more space. That'll go into it like that. Yeah, so I'm just going to put it up to me and then I'll show it to you. So I'm happy enough now with that. Okay, so I'm just going to set that down and I'm going to put that yellow away because I'm join it all together. Now, the next little part of our pencil flower is Tia's doing great, is the little petals. Okay, so we're going to mix, I think just for a little bit of excitement, if you forgot to take a bit over, it doesn't really matter, but I think just for excitement and to show you about colour mixing, I'm adding a little bit of orange to my yellow and we're going to stretch and we're going to stretch and we're going to stretch. It's not going to make a huge bit of difference, but it'll just give you a different tonal variation, and that's kind of just something as artists you want to see and understand. So you're mixing and you're blending. Remember, stretch and fold, stretch and fold, stretch and fold. Okay. So that's a nice kind of a milky, kind of a buttery yellow I'm making there. Now, so I'm going to try and think now, what size will we do? We're going to divide, so we're going to use all this for our petals. So all the amount of yellow you left over, we're going to use that for the petals. So I'm going to divide it into 6, at least 6. So divide into 2, the big ball into 2, and then roll it into a sausage. Roll into a sausage, 2 sausages. You've got 2 equal sausages, hopefully. And then we'll decide how many petals we'll take from there. There's 2 equal enough sausages there. I'm just trying to think. So I would say I think we'll get 4. We'll go for 8 petals in total if we could. So there's going to be 2 from that sausage, 2 from that. I'm going to go another 2 and another 2 there. 2 there. So let me just see. Yeah, these will be quite big, but they'll be quite nice. So we have our 8 equal, we'll say 8 to 10 petals. I've got 8. So I'm just going to leave them. And I'm going to demonstrate this on my plate. So into a ball. And the shape of the petal, what do you think it would be? Jane, what did you say? A droplet? Yes, good girl, good girl. So into a ball and then a droplet and then flatten it. So that's the kind of the shape you want for a little petal there. See? And then you attach it on nicely like that. So I'm going to do 8 of them. Okay. So I'm just going to sit that just like that. So I'll do it again. Into a ball. Side where the halfway mark is, do your droplet and then flatten. So this is called a flattened droplet. It's very important as well. It's a really important shape in model making. So something like that. So I'm going to have obviously the 8 all around. Great. So I'm going to set mine actually just on this here so that it'll be, we can work around it, but it won't squish on the table, if you know what I mean. So that's a good idea. Into a ball and then a droplet and then flatten it. So that's my third one. I'm going to hold it up to you. Yeah, third one. Okay. Now into a ball, and then a droplet, and then we flatten. Great. Great. And then we stick it on. So mine are kind of even, which is good. It just makes it a little bit more authentic looking. Into a ball. The side where the halfway mark is, and you roll over and back like that. Flatten it. I'm going to hold it up to the screen just so everybody can see. There you go. So that's my 5th one. 5th. And then this is my 6th one. So into a ball. Decide where the halfway mark is. Make it into a droplet. And flatten like that. And attach it on. Again, I'm going to hold it up. It's looking quite good. And then into the bowl. I just took a little bit of my clay from this one. It was a little bit big, so I just nipped a bit away. But look, it doesn't really matter. I just know kind of the amount I need. And that's our flattened drop. That's our 7th one. And then last is my 8th. And then flatten it. Hold it up. And that should go up like that. So I'm going to hold it up as I want to do it for me, and then I'll show it to you. So look at, looks quite good, isn't it? You see kind of the sides is quite even. It's even enough the size, or the little petals there as well are quite even, which is nice. So another little trick I was going to show you was using the smooth side of this tool and just do a little line in the middle, bringing it down. Remember, bring it down, down like this. So look at the screen, and then in, 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 and then in like that. So just a little bit of a little division in each of the petals to give it more realism. Okay. Now again, I had the little eyes. I don't know if everybody got eyes. I can't, I don't remember, but if you have, you can insert them wherever you want. You can insert them in there, but I'm actually not going to bother with mine. I just prefer not to have eyes for this one. So it's up to you. If you want to stick in the eyes, do. But don't worry either way. Okay. Now, so I'm going to give you, sorry, the next thing I'm going to do is the little green. So I have a little bit of green left over, and I have a little bit of yellow just from, that's the way it worked because one of those petals are too big. So again, I'm going to stretch it and I'm going to fold it, and you're going to see a lovely kind of lighter shade of green now. And see the way it goes marbly, and then eventually it'll all intermingle into like one smooth little tone. Okay. Like that. And then the droplet is obviously, what did I just ask you, is what shape do you think the droplet is? What shape? Yeah, a droplet. Yeah, flattened droplet. Very good. So into a ball. We're total pros at the droplet now. Into the ball. Then you decide where the halfway mark is, roll over and back, and then you flatten it. Fantastic. So it's like that. That, and then we get our tool. So this is a good little, these are a few little good tricks you're going to learn now. So remember, into the center of the leaf, a big line, okay, and still using that smooth side of our tool, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, we did it last week, didn't we? Did we? I can't remember, but it's a leaf, so you're going to do the little veins of the leaf. This is the veins of the leaf we're doing. So up, 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 and up. Okay. Now, for any of you that are good and maybe a little bit older, just to make it really authentic looking and really like a leaf, then you go into it. It just makes it look a little bit more realistic. Okay, like that. And the other side, so you go into the vein again, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, like that, something like that. Now, and then I'm just going to set it aside like this. So it's a little flower with one little leaf. Yeah. So hopefully, you have all kind of finished at the same stage. You're at the same stage as me. I'm going to just keep it balanced on this here. Okay, I'm going to balance it on that. So like look at, so then that this isn't going to be touching the table, and it'll dry nice and hard, and it won't all just fall apart. So I'm just going to make sure it's resting on that. Is everybody happy with theirs? Hopefully, I'm going to set it like that, so you can have a little look. Okay, so that's number 1 done. Now we're going to go on to our activity number 2, which is our walking tree, basically. So I'm going to open this. Now, and again, in this pack here, you would have got the green, you would have got your walking tool, the gold, and then eyes. So that's all what we need for this little character here. But we also will be dipping into our own little pack, this one here. Okay? Just so remember, because we're going to be making the little birds. Yeah, sorry, I'll bring that more into the focus. We're going to be making our little bird, and we're going to be making the apples. So all these colours will come from this pack here. And the little birds' nests, the little 3 birds in the nests, they'll actually be coming from this here. Okay, so we're going to start doing the gold on the moving mechanism. So remember, we want to wind it up on the side. So mine's front is to this side here, if you know what I mean. So the little the wind up is to my right. So again, in order to get the clay to stick to the mechanism, we're going to do 1 long sausage and wrap it around the base of our moving mechanism. And once you get that right, then everything is a lot easier. So like this. You see, last week my studio was so cold here. The clay, I found it was difficult to stick it to the actual tubs. But today I've had the heat on much longer, so it's working much, much better. So look at, just like that. It's kind of a little baseline around the little walking mechanism. And you want to be very careful out there, boys and girls. This is a little tip for everybody there. You can't cover that. You can go around it, but don't cover it, because then you won't be able to wind it up tomorrow, right? So I'm just going to bring it back. You should be able to do this relatively easy yourself. Just roll out a sequence of sausages and build it up that way. So that's the amount I'm using for now. We don't have to be too exact, because we can add to it if you run out. So look at, I'm just wrapping it around nice and carefully around our moving mechanism. Yeah? And I'm going to do a series, obviously, of sausages of similar size. Say that. That's a real tongue twister, isn't it? A series of sausages of similar sizes. So there we go. Roll it out. And wrap. Okay, and I'm going to be careful around the little mechanism. We don't want to cover it, remember, because then you won't be able to walk tomorrow. You'll be too stuck. Again, this is my 1, 2, 3. This is my 4th sausage. And we're going to wrap. Yeah, and you see I was a little bit short there, so I'm just going to add tiny little bit, so there's no big major drama if we didn't do the full length. Just in this size and then attach it on. Okay, I'm going to nip a little bit away because there's too much there. So again, I was always amazed when I was doing the real after schools. The kids are really good at this, at the technique of wrapping it around the moving mechanisms. They just had a knack for it, or the little hands for it. So again, sausage, roll it out, and then wrap it around. And same for you, the other side, and the other side. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to pause here for a minute just to show you what stage I'm at. And remember, if all those are new to the metallic key, this is gold and it's really, really metallic. So just be mindful, it does come off in your hands, but it won't stick to or stay in your clothes. And it's nice because we'll be using green afterwards and it'll metallicalize the green. So it's quite attractive in itself. So just to let you know there. Okay. Now for the top, so I've got my sides done. I've got it nicely around the actual the little turning device, but this is what's missing. So I'm just going to roll a simple little small ball. And I'm going to roll on the table. It's just easier for the foam clay, and then tap it down on the table so it's a ball like that, and then disinsert it. It's like a little lid almost. Okay. So again, I'm just going to, he's walking the right way. So everybody can test their little walking man to make sure that he is actually walking. Now, so in the pack again, we're just going to keep, if you've any gold left over, keep it, okay? I'm just going to put it back in there because I'm going to do a little kind of arm / branches, coming out. But for now, I'm happy enough that the body has been covered. That's my main concern. So I've got this green here, and we're going to stretch again, and we're going to fold. We're going to stretch, and we're going to fold over and back. Again, just to warm it up. And I'm going to divide, how many balls do you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even 6. So try and roll into a sausage. Keep a little bit away for a nosy section. I want a little nose. So keep a tiny bit away of the green just for the nose. So keep that aside and roll the remainder bit into a sausage. It doesn't really matter about the thickness, something around that thickness. Okay, let's make it tidy up here like that. And then we're going to cut it into 6. So let me see, that's 2. And that's, I'm going to do, if I do 2, I want to have 3 there. So I want to go 1, 2, 3. So 3 kind of amounts that are equal enough. And then we roll them into 3 equal balls. Okay, so again, it's not, it doesn't have to be exact science, but some amounts around that amount. You could go more, you could go less. I'm just thinking of time here and that, but if you wanted to go more, feel free to. So I'll just get used out and just do 1 and start from there. Okay. So into a ball. I'm actually doing the palm of my hands again. It's just easier for me. And I can see the way that the metallic has actually come onto the green. I don't know if you can see it on camera there, but it has. But we'll put that in the center, okay? We'll just work that on the center, and then we'll do stick the little other balls around it. So I'm going to do my green, the palm of my hands. I'll just show you there. And then we'll stick it on. So you can do that easy enough. This is simple, isn't it? This is the simplest of shapes. Okay, like that. 2, 3. And I'm doing mine in the palm of my hands. And if some look, it's perfect. It's grand. I'm worried about it. And some of mine are bigger than the others. 1, 2. I'm doing 1, 2, 3 there. 4, 5. That's going to be my front. So I'm going to go again and give her a little fringe almost there. And what I'm doing is doing it in palm of my hands. So let's see. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6. So I just got 6. I'm actually going to do a higher one, I think, up here. So just so that it's like a, sometimes in art, you know, things that are in a pyramid will look better just visually. So I'm going to stick them a little bit higher up there. Okay. So something like that, everybody. So I have 8 in total. I have 3 down the center, 1 on top, and the 2 at either side. Okay. Now, when we're happy enough with that, I'm going to insert my eyes. So I've got these ones for this time. So I'm going to put them in there, and in there. So it's like that. Okay. If you have those eyes there, those other type of eyes, stick them on, but you need to put a little bit of pressure, and with the gold, give it a little eyelid. I'll just point it out here. See, or it'll see underneath, so that it'll sit in. Do you understand? Yeah. So a little bit of extra. I just want to get something I can point out. So this little extra bit here, so it'll prevent it from falling out. So extra bit of clay, that side and that side, just to point out. Okay. Now, and then I'm going to give it the little nose. So I only want a small little nose, so small little bit of green into a ball. Let me just say, small little bit of green. And then into the center, just about there. See it? So she looks good, doesn't she? She really does. Now we're going to go for the apples on her head. So again, using this our intro pack, using the intro pack, take the red out, and you should have remainders of red from last week. So we're going to open it up and take, let me just see, around, that's more than enough. So you only need, remember, put the lids back, and these are crucial little containers. Put the lids back, put them back in the actual intro set. So I've taken around this amount, and we're going to divide it into 5. So that might be even too much. So again, the apples can be a little bit uneven, so they don't have to be the exact. So I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a little bit extra there, so I put that back into my little container. I think that's all we need is really 5, isn't it? Well, you can do more, you can do less, just up to you. So then into a ball, so 5 little balls for the apple, simple. Now, 1. Again, nice and exact and smooth. So there, 1. We'll not just stick them on yet, if that's okay, because I want to show you something else. We're going to do the little stem on the apple, which is tiny, but it just gives it a more professional, realistic finish. So when we have the final, the 5 made, or whatever number of apples you've made, we're going to get our tool. So this is the little tiny tool. I don't think we use this today. No, this one here. And insert a little hole, in a little hole into the top of the apple, just gently, just to give it a little indication of where the stem of the apple will go. I don't know if you can even see that. I'm going to hold it up to the camera now. See that? Okay. And then we're going to get our black out. So a black, we should have loads of black, because we didn't use it last week. Well, I didn't. So black, and then we dip in, and we take tiny amounts now. That's plenty. See? Plenty. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to move my apples out of the way. Make it into a small sausage. And 5. So it's the stem of the apples we are making. So 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, 4. Whoops. 4 and 5. Oops. So you're working really from large to small in these creations as well, which is good for your fine motor skills. So I'm going to insert mine on to my little hat, or my hat, into my little tree head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So look at it, looks good, doesn't it? I hope you are happy with yours. Oh no. Oh, you know what I'm after doing? I did it back to front again, but you look at his he's doing the moonwalk. Mine's going backwards, but you're anyway. That's a little quirk. I hope you took my advice and did it properly, but if not, sure, it just adds to the character. Okay, so when we have that stage done, we're going to do a few little birds. So we're getting our this tool here, which is our roundy ball one, and then insert in the middle. So it's like a mouth, in the mouth section where you think the mouth is. Remember, that was the nose, that's the eye. Sorry, that's the eyes, that's the nose, and then this is the mouth section. So we're going to add a little bit of black into the mouth section. So again, we still have the black, a load of it left over. So I'm going to show you now a tiny bit of black. Yeah, it's for the nesty section, where the nest will go, and then into a ball and flatten it. So you want something like that. Just a very, very small little amount, nothing major, just the top of your finger. See, that's just covering my finger. And then we're going to insert it into the mouth like that. Yeah. And again, using this tool that was supplied, the bigger ball, and just indent it. So it gives a little bit of the illusion of depth. Yeah. Now, and then we're going to make our brown for our little birds. Can anybody tell me how you make brown? What did you say? Orange, yes, and a tiny bit of, I can't hear, black, perfect, yes, good girl out there, yes, fantastic. So a tiny bit of black to orange, and that's how you make your brown. So I have the black out, so I'm just going for my orange. So I'll get my orange out. Now, so I only want small little heads. So around that amount of orange is plenty, okay? It's plenty. Do you see it? I'm going to show you again. So it's I think it's less than the black, isn't it, that I had? Yeah. And then the teeniest bit of black you've ever seen, like that and that. And we're going to blend and fold and blend and fold until it becomes a nice brown colour. And keep that out for a minute, that orange, because we're going to use it for beaks. So we're going to stretch and we're going to fold. We're going to stretch and we're going to fold. And this is nice. Again, I love the mixing of the colours, because it's quite satisfying. It goes to different stages, and then eventually it'll go the colour or the tone you want. And again, if you want to keep it the kind of the marbly effect, you can, because little birds have all different tones in their feathers, haven't they? So I have 3 little heads. So we're going to do 3 little balls for the head. 1, and you want small. The smallest, these are going to be the teeniest little chicks you've ever seen. So I can't even put it on, I won't put it on the black, I'll leave it on the table. So look at my nail, and then that's how tiny it is, isn't it? And you want them even, because they're all little siblings, okay? 1, 2. I'm going to show you what stage I'm at. 2, 3. Okay. And then we're going to get our tiniest bit of orange. This is the teeniest. Okay, so look at that. That's going to do 3 beaks. So into 3 sausages. So I'm just going to into 1 sausage, and then into 3 little tiny beaks. So into a ball, and the beaks are droplets. I can't even show you here, because they're so tiny, tiny, tiny. See? So I'll stick it onto the little head, and then all will be revealed. It just shows you how easy it is to make everything, or the illusion maybe of everything, because with a little ball and a little droplet, you can make a little chick. See? There you go. I'm going to just stick it on. So just bear with me one moment. So he's going to be the center of our little nest. Yeah? He's looking good, isn't he? And then the other 2, the same formula. So a little beak, and then the 2 heads. Onto the 2 heads. So I use lovely little fingers and hands. Mine are a little bit big and chunky, but I can do it, so you'll have no problem in doing it. Now, and then, so my fine little head, look at the little brown head, getting the little beak, like this, and then we stick it on. Okay, so I'm just going to have to go off camera just till I just do this because I can't just see what I'm doing. It's so tiny. And then I'll show you now. So I've got a tiny little bit of orange to the head now. Now, I hope, Carmen, you're getting on okay as well. Carmen is one of my older kids, and she was with me during when I was doing real workshops. She's fantastic. So I hope you're enjoying it, Carmen. Look at it like that. Now, so there's our 3 little birds, but I have the mama bird. She's sitting up here on top. So I'm going to go back to our mixing of the brown, which is a little bit of orange to black. Good. Well, sorry, a little bit of black to orange. That was my mistake. Yeah, that was my mistake. So it's a little bit of black to orange, not the other way around, because you'll just have black. You want to get more orange, a lot more orange than black. So look at orange, black, and mix. And that's maybe even too much. But anyway, we'll keep going. We'll mix and we'll mix. And we don't want the mammy to be a monster mammy bird. So over and back, stretch and fold until you're happy with the tone that you think your little bird will be. It's amazing, just by mixing, you get all your colours. By knowing those 3 shapes, you can make everything and anything from chaotic, which is wonderful, isn't it? Okay, so if you look at my little bird here, I have the body, it's a, can anybody tell me? Great, a droplet. Yeah, so the body is a droplet. I'm going to turn it around like that. So this is a droplet for the body. The head is a little ball. The beak obviously is a droplet, and the 2 wings are 2 droplets. So again, everything can be broken down into those little shapes. I'm going to set you away, put you away, and start with the body. Now, I just have to gauge now the size of mine. I don't want my little bird to be monstrous. That's okay. So the body of the bird will be around this size for me. I'm happy with that. Okay. So into a bowl, and then the little droplet, and you're going to keep them standing up like that. And then you're going to do a little head is a small little, remember we said the ball, so a little ball. We'll not just stick it on because we're going to get back into our orange. We're using orange today, but only tiny bits, so you'll have loads for the other creation for the next 3 weeks. So look at that, and then into the droplet. So a ball, a droplet for the little beak. So it's just about giving it detail, and so that people can kind of register what you were trying to achieve. Oh, a ball, and then the beak is a droplet, okay? Now, and then the next the next shape we're going to concentrate on are the wings. So a larger ball of white, or brown, sorry, and then divide it into 2, like this. And you're going to go into a ball, and then a droplet, and flattened. Very good. You're all doing so well, aren't you? Ball, and then a droplet, and then flatten it, and flatten it, like that. So there you go. They're the little side wings. Now, so I have that, and you're going to put, so listen to me, this is quite important. Put the fatter part of the droplet, where am I? It's gone, I can't even see it. Whoops. To the neck of the bird. So the fat part goes to the skinnier droplet. So look like that. It's looking like a little bird now. And then the other one, like that. Okay. I'm actually going to do mine a little robin redbreast just because I like the little robin. So I'm going to do a tiny bit of orange into a ball, droplet, and then add it into the center. You didn't have to do that, but I just wanted, it might just give it a little bit more life, like that. So mine's a little robin redbreast, mummy, and then head on. So we've done all our little separate bits. So we're literally flying like this little birdie, aren't we? Yeah? Whoops, he's after falling. So then we're going to stick them on. So I'm going to position, I'm just going to turn this to me, decide where. So think about, consider the aspect of where you'd like your little birds. I'm going to put them just on top of that one there, just like that. See? Yeah? So he's looking quite good, isn't he? I'm just going to make sure. And because chaotic is so light, it's the wonderful part of it as well. You know, you can kind of stick it anywhere. So mine's like that. That looks good. And then I have, remember we kept over some of the gold. I'm going to take 2 little bits and make my arm/branches. So I'm just going to take, if you've more, if you've less, don't worry about it. I'm going to take around that amount into a ball, divide it into 2, and roll your arm. So, and again, I need to look at this, but I will show it to you in 1 minute. So I'm going to go up like that. So it's like that. And then the other side, I'm going to go the same. So he's holding, I'm going to have him kind of holding on to the little green part. I'm actually liking the look of my little man. It's funny. That is actually good. It's quite aerodynamic with, you know, it's going, lots going on, but it still works. Okay, and then that was all we had in that one, isn't it? Yeah, our nose. So I'm just going to make sure everybody has the bits and pieces. So we have the eyes, the nose, the mouth with the little chicks, 3 chicks hanging out. Then we have the mammy on top there, so she's looking good with all our little apples. Now just one, this is might be a little bit too detailed, but I like when I'm ever doing apples, I always give it shines. So I'm just going to show you, I'll just do it in one because it'll just take too much time, but look at it's just the teeniest little bit of white you've ever seen, and you just put it onto the apple. So it looks as if, actually that's already too much. So I'm going to actually take that away and I'm going to cut half it. See how tiny we're talking? You know the way in like the animation, the apples always have shines, don't they? So, whoops, I can't even see it. See there? So like that. Again, you're here to learn a few little modelling tricks, and these are just little bits that'll accentuate your designs and your creations. Now, and I'll just put you on a different league. So I'm going to do mine. I have all the bits. I only need a tiny bits. And that's another thing about chaotic. You only need tiny little amounts to make anything. So it's wonderful in that respect as well. And thanks again for all of you that have been sending me on your pictures in the private members club on my Facebook page. The Mills girls never let me down. They just do fabulous work all the time. So look at, I just added the shine. It does make a slight difference, doesn't it? So I hope you are happy with those 2 creations. I enjoyed actually making them. I really enjoyed that. That was a nice little afternoon for me. I enjoyed that. And just to go over with this one, please, 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 if you can, refrain from using it tonight. You want it to be dry so that you get literally years and years of enjoyment from it. So keep it for a day or so. Even this time tomorrow, you can play with it. But just it'll be more resilient. The drier it is, and then you can have it. I've got some of mine. Literally, I've made around 10 years ago. I'm in business 10 years, and some of them I still have. So yeah, that one looks good, doesn't it? It does look good. So that's that one, and then we'll go back pencil. Whoops. Yeah. It was a good idea to put it on that. So again, I wouldn't be doing your little diary. Maybe I wouldn't be using it tonight, but leave it for tonight, and then tomorrow evening or tomorrow you could start writing with it. Now I'm a little, that's okay, but if you find just if any of them come off, you can add a tiny bit of water and just dab it on, okay, and it'll be fine, because actually I made that, it was before Christmas, so that is very resilient now. So I really hope you enjoy that. I'm trying to think what I'm doing next week. Oh yes, it's a little moving. It's actually another moving. We've got 2 activities: a moving hedgehog, and a little bird-inspired house. But that's another thing, actually. Okay, we did the little bird today, but we're doing a more detailed little bird in a few weeks' time. Just a bigger version of that we can use as a decoration. Again, the theme is nature, so we'll continue obviously on that with the theme of nature every week. So listen, again, thanks a million for joining up. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've learned a few little tricks, and all being well, we'll see each other next Thursday, and keep safe and keep well. That's the main thing. Okay, bye.